folks, welcome to week 14. So this is going to be a short takes short takes lecture here. Just so you know, since this is a short holiday week, we're going to take a short lecture here. One thing I do want to let you guys know about next week, the lecture is going to be entirely about the final exam. So so that you're completely ready for that. Okay. This week we're mainly going to be looking at the due dates for the stuff that's still outstanding, the stuff you guys are currently working on. Okay. And we're going to mainly just try to get you guys situated so that you can complete these assignments as quickly as you can. Okay? Because we have a lot of due dates coming up all on the same day. So let's take a look here. So, again, we're approaching the end of the semester rapidly. We have this week. The next week is the last week of classes, and then the following week is finals week. As such, we're getting down to the wire in terms of deadlines for the class assignments and approaching finals week, as I said. This week, we're simply going to be going through the remaining assignments and deadlines in the class, as well as tips on what to do to possibly improve your grade. Okay? I do have a way for you to improve your grade. I do have a way that you can try to get pale hill catch up here. But one thing, there's a big caveat to this. If you are too far behind, it is probably going to be impossible to gain a passing grade within the constraints of the time left in the semester. Now, I do understand if you have some kind of hardship that came up over the course of the semester, if it was causing you some issues, I understand that. I am willing to work with you, but you need to contact me and let me know what's going on. Okay? Also, keep in mind that if I do work with you and we do get you any extensions that you need to finish up the work, you need to do it by the deadlines that I give you, or else we're just going to revert back to whatever grades you would have gotten, which most likely will be failing. Okay, so make sure that if you need accommodations, that you're going to actually work with me and actually take me up on them. Okay. So let's take a look at the stuff that we have remaining outstanding. Alright, so first off is the weekly discussion topics. There is going to be one more discussion topic posted this week. That will be the last topic of the semester. It'll bring the board to a total of 14 topics. That's from one per week from the start of the semester to the present. Okay? This is a board that's been up all semester long. Okay? So as such, I cannot give any extensions on it because really there's not much of an excuse. If you've been able to get to eCampus, you are able to get to this discussion board. Okay? Those of you who have been regularly posting to it, thank you for your participation. I do really appreciate that. We've had a lot of good responses to it. Okay? A lot of good discussions have been going on. Now, those of you who have not been posting, you will need to post to the board. It is part of your grade. Okay? In order to count toward the grade for the discussion board, you have to post a minimum of 3 paragraphs. Okay? That's a hard minimum. I'm not going to accept any 1 or 2 sentence responses. I'm not going to accept a response that looks like it's 3 paragraphs, but each paragraph is its own sentence. Okay? You need to have 3 fully fleshed out paragraphs, fully articulating your response to that discussion prompt. Okay? The grade is based on how many topics you've responded to by the end of the semester. Therefore, the more topics you post a full response to, the better your grade's going to be. Okay? I will only count you as having responded to a topic if you have a 3-paragraph response. Okay? End of story. Weekly discussion topic board locks on December 4th. No additional posts may be made after that time. I have to have a deadline on this. I cannot give you any extensions on this. You've had an entire semester work on it. I'm giving you an extra week without a new topic so that you can fully catch up. Okay? I've done as much accommodation as I can with this. The rest of it's going to be up to you. Now, I'm writing this and recording this on November 16th. So as I sit here now, there are currently 13 topics available. I'm going to go through a brief description of each of those topics. Those of you who have been tuning into the Collaborate sessions, you probably know what these are because we actually do every 3 weeks a review of the most recent topics on the board. Okay? If you have not been joining us for those Collaborate sessions and have not watched them off of YouTube, this is going to be just a quick overview. The only one that's going to have a actual reading of the discussion topic itself is going to be week 13 because we're not going to be able to get to that in a Collaborate session. Okay? So, starting from week 1, the week 1 topic was students getting cheated. This was about the British exam meddling, where the students had to leave school. They were given virtual exam scores, which they used to enter colleges, and then the examination board said, you know what, we're changing the basis of that from your teacher's recommendation to an algorithm, and the algorithm wound up screwing over a bunch of students and making them have to withdraw from college because now they didn't meet the testing criteria. Okay? Week 2, remembering Chadwick Boseman. It was entirely about the actor himself. It was also about him acting on his privacy, keeping his diagnosis private. Okay. Week 3, Mulan and the film industry shifting model. This involved the premiere to streaming of the Mulan remake that went directly to Disney Plus. At a premium price, and how that was kind of shifting the expectations of the industry. Week 4, a sports risk reward quandary. This is about professional sports and college sports restarting in the middle of the pandemic, how they were approaching it, specifically about the NHL and NBA bubbles, and the testing protocols that have been being used by Major League Baseball and the NFL, and how there were delays to some football conferences in college starting their seasons. Week 5, wildfires, storms, and the climate. This was a two-pronged climate change topic. Part of it was talking about the West Coast wildfires that I believe are still currently ongoing. The other one was talking about the proliferation of major storms, major tropical storms like hurricanes. In fact, as we speak here, we are currently awaiting landfall on Hurricane Iota, which is the furthest we've gotten into the Greek alphabet since we have to use the Greek alphabet when the name list exhausts itself. And keep in mind, this is only the second year that's happened. Okay. Week 6, fighting hate through creative means. This involved a apparel company in England who withdrew their products from sale in North America after they discovered they were being used as a de facto uniform by the Proud Boys. And it also talked about some other creatives who had, and their actions when their creations had been basically appropriated by extremist groups. Week 7, Banned Books Week. This was about the American Library Association's annual Banned Books Week. Week 8, Columbus versus Indigenous Peoples. This was involving the controversy over Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples Day and whether that should still be a holiday and who it should really commemorate. Week 9, social media and YouTube as springboard. This is mainly talking about social media celebrities, okay, and how they're starting to become more mainstream. Week 10, a Halloween trick for you. This was a special Halloween topic where you're asked to post responses to one of 4 mystery links that was in the initial topic, and you're supposed to give your reactions. Week 11, election meddling. This dealt with trolling of online polls, and it's centered on the 2004 South Korean election for checks between Checky and Chaka that ultimately resulted this year in Kellogg's debuting green onion flavored checks in South Korea. Week 12, the fitting memorial to Alex Trebek. This dealt with the aftermath of the death of Alex Trebek, how the show dealt with it, how fans have dealt with it, how he's been memorialized, and what the show is going to do moving forward, including who would be a fitting host for the show. Week 13, we have not talked about in a Collaborate session, just posted it. It is the strange and dangerous practice of breatharianism. So I'm going to show you what that topic is real quick. All right, so here we go. Here is on the discussion board. This is the week 13 discussion topic. The strange and dangerous practice of breatharianism. Here is the skinny on the topic. There's not much to it, but there's a good amount of research sources. There have been, over the course of modern history, a number of cultish practices that have gained acclaim, fame, or popularity, not necessarily within the bounds of good sense. Among these is the idea of breatharianism, the practice of trying to convert the body to function exclusively on solar energy without food. There have been many practitioners of this dietary idea, most of which from the later part of the 20th century onward. This practice most recently made headlines in 2013, when Navina Shine, a woman living in Seattle, documented her own experiment living on a breatharian diet for a stated goal of 100 days. While there were supporters leaving supportive messages to her videos, Navina's videos mainly drew comments from YouTube users begging her to stop, even going so far as threatening to report her videos to YouTube for showing what they felt was Navina's slow suicide. For your discussion this week, talk about your reaction to this practice. How much do you trust advocates of the practice? One suggestion here, one of your sources is a page from Snopes about the practice, so answer this question prior to reading the Snopes page. How can those impacted by the breatharian fad be assisted, whether continuing their lifestyle or breaking them away from it? All right, there are 4 sources here on breatharianism. The first one is actually what inspired me to make this topic in the first place, and that is a YouTube video that's posted in October, late October, from the channel Atrocity Guide, The Strange World of Breatharianism. It's 51 minutes long, but it's a really thorough overview of what the breatharian fad is about, what their practices are, what their beliefs are, things like that, and who has advocated for it over the years. It actually dates back to the mid-70s. Okay? Then we have Bravo. Breatharians claim to survive by eating air instead of food, and people believe them. Okay? Third one from New York Daily News. Seattle woman stops eating and goes breatharian for 5 weeks in an attempt to survive on water and light. That's talking specifically about Navina Shine. Okay? Then the fourth one is the Snopes article. Do breatharians survive without food and water? The Snopes article is a fact check article. So they're going to be doing some heavy lifting in terms of intellectual stuff. They're going to be looking at whether it's to be believed that these people are actually doing this. And as I said, week 14, I have not chosen that topic yet. I will be doing that on the Monday of this week. Okay? Now, as a reminder, you need to respond to the post with a 3-paragraph response. The number of topics you respond to will determine your grade for the discussion board. Okay? So long as we're clear on that, we're going to move on. All right, next on the docket here is Mindtap. The Mindtap exercises are a good chunk of your grade, and as such, you need to complete the exercises there. Okay? I know some people started way late on this. Really, you kind of needed to start it from the start of the semester. Even though it is self-paced, you do have a hard deadline on this. Okay? The grade for Mindtap will appear in the gradebook based on your Mindtap total score. Grades in the gradebook are weighted based on the percentages given in the syllabus. Okay, so whatever weight towards your grade that particular section is supposed to be, it will be counted as that in the gradebook. It won't be obvious, but it will be working that way. Okay, I will be weighting those grades. Okay. So, Mindtap also locks on December 4th. Now, you must complete the exercises in Mindtap prior to this date in order to achieve the best possible grade. The assignments you need to complete are only the ones that are marked counts toward grade. I've set this up because I set it up this way because there were certain assignments in there that were doubling up on assignments I was already giving. Okay? Specifically, they gave you the option of using Mindtap to turn in the major essays. And I don't want to do that. I like Blackboard's reading system better, so that's why I do that. Okay. Anything that's marked counts toward grade is also auto-graded, so you should have a result right away. Okay. Also, want to keep in mind counts toward grade exercises that are not attempted are counted against your score by Mindtap system. So it will behoove you to do as many of them as possible to avoid taking huge hit on that. Okay, do as many as you can. And again, that one locks on December 4th as well. Okay, I cannot give you an extension on this, partly because it's an external system, and also partly because I gave this to you on day one. You had an entire semester to get this going. You needed to have been doing it the whole time. Next up, the current essay you're working on, the proposal essay. You should be performing this week the revision workshop on the last essay of the semester, which is the proposal. As a reminder, your proposal topic should be the research question you used as the basis for your annotated bibliography. Now, as it is, I am recording this on Monday, November 16th. Okay, I have started grading the proposal essays, and unfortunately, I am seeing some patterns here in people who did not follow the instructions. Okay, I did say part of the instructions were you need to use your own research question and write your own annotated bibliography just based on the sources that you and your teammates bring together. You had to make your own assessments. You had to look at the articles yourself, summarize them yourself, and give your own assessments. I have thus far seen at least 3 people who turned in an identical document because they did it as a collaboration. Unfortunately, it was a collaboration that did not include a research question, and it did not include any evaluations of the sources in the annotations. Okay, so that's really going to put you behind the 8 ball on this proposal essay. Okay, the point of that annotated bibliography was to act as a team exercise, but it was also to lead into the proposal essay. Okay, so you should also be using as many of the sources from the annotated bibliography that were usable for your research question. Okay, so whatever you assess that would be usable for your purposes, those are the sources that you're using for this essay. As you do revision workshopping on this essay, please keep in mind the following that are parts of your grade. Okay, this is stuff you need to be looking for in revisions. One of them is the detail. How much about the subject is presented in the essay? Is it enough that an uninitiated reader will understand what's being discussed? How deep does the analysis of the subject go? Okay, really, what this comes down to is how detailed are they about their proposal? Do they know for sure what they want to do, what they want to encourage whoever it is they're speaking to do about the situation? They have specific details about what the benefits are going to be. They have specific details about what the problem is. Okay? Second one is readability. How comfortable is it for the general reader to read? How much of the essay is fully understandable from the viewpoint of an uneducated reader? Okay? Keep in mind, you're writing for the stupidest person in the room. Make sure that everyone is able to understand what it is you're proposing, what is the problem that you're proposing to fix. Make sure everything is clear. This also goes into how comfortable it is to read. Is the language clear? Is the formatting clear? Do you have paragraph spaces, or is it one giant paragraph? Because that gets to be a pain. Literally, okay? Reading an essay that's one giant paragraph that's 4 pages long literally gives me a migraine. Okay? So try to avoid that. Then focus. How well does the essay stay on topic and focus on the research question? How far does the writer digress? Okay? Are you staying within the realm of your proposal and within the realm of the topic? Okay? Are you spending too much time looking at little things that really don't apply or really don't matter, and not enough time on the stuff that's going to be the meat and potatoes of your proposal? Okay? So try to stay out of the weeds as much as you can. So that, in addition to other elements such as the subject itself, clarity of the proposal, how well they address the opposition, okay, how they do their formatting, if they're using traditional style, if they're making a Rogerian argument out of the proposal, whatever they need to do. Okay? So next week will be the proofreading and editing workshop. At the end of next week, the essay will be due. That is December 4th again. Okay? So you will need to have your completed drafts in by December 4th. Now, I usually am able to give you some leeway in turning it in late. However, this time I can't because we're at the end of the semester. You will only be allowed to turn this essay in through December 10th to receive credit for it. December 10th is the absolute dead dog day on this. I will not accept any drafts after December 10th. I cannot because the next day I have to submit grades. Okay, and I can't be having people sending in essays until the absolute last minute. Okay, so to receive credit, the latest you can turn this in is December 10th. That's the last day of finals week. All right, one last thing here, and that is how you could possibly improve your grade, and that is through corrections of your past work. Okay, if you make improvements to your past papers, then you will be able to improve your grade a bit. In the case of this class, the two papers you can do this with are the classical argument and the evaluation. Okay, check against the notes that I've given in the feedback I gave you on the essay. Some of it is highlighted in the essay itself. Most of it is usually going to be in the notes that are attached, notes from instructor. Okay. Below the grade breakdown, I'll usually have some notes on what's going on with the essay that I feel needs improvement. Okay. I will say I've done a lot of these where many times the whole thing that's going to improve the grade is by actually following the conventions of what it's supposed to be. There were a number of people who turned in classical arguments that were really just research papers. There were people who turned in evaluations that didn't evaluate anything. They were basic classical arguments. A couple of people have turned in evaluations that were basically reports. Okay, they read like book reports or other kinds of reports. They were factual, very factual, but they didn't have criteria. They didn't have any kind of argumentative weight behind it. Okay. That's stuff that you need to fix, and that's stuff that will improve the grades on those. Okay? I would also recommend that you allow others to read the corrected essays for the purposes of proofreading. Anyone in your household, any trustworthy adult, someone who knows grammar, okay? Even if you ask your proctor again to reread stuff for you, that would be a good thing. Okay? If you choose to make corrections on it to the essay, make sure you're able to turn them in by December 4th. Okay? That is, again, a hard deadline. I cannot accept anything after that date. Okay? I will be reopening the assignments so that you can turn in additional attempts. Okay? So the classical argument and the evaluation essays are going to be reopened. The links are going to be reopened so that if you submitted an attempt before, you will be able to submit another attempt. Okay? Here's the other important thing. The revised versions will not incur the late penalty. This is important because this also applies for anyone who turned theirs in late. As long as you have made substantial changes to the essay, you can turn it in as an improved essay, and the late penalty will be removed. Okay? I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart because it is the holidays, and everybody deserves to go into the holiday smiling. Okay? So, revised versions of this will not incur the late penalty as long as it's substantially different from the original one that was turned in. All right, as I said, this is a short one, and I kept my promise. This is a short essay, short lecture, to let you guys know what was going on. I won't keep you too much longer. So what we're going to be doing for this week, what you need to be doing. Number 1, revision workshop on the proposal essay. Number 2, the weekly discussion boards. Week 14 will have a topic by the time you see this. So you need to be posting to as many of them as you have not posted to yet. Okay? Number 3, Mindtap. Finish up Mindtap. Okay? As much as you can. Number 4, if you're doing any revisions on papers, you need to be working on that right now. Number 5, exam review. Exam prep. Okay? Next week is going to be an overview of the exam materials. It's going to cover both the packet materials and the question overview. Okay, so in addition to wrapping up the class, it'll be very helpful for you going into the finals week. Okay, with all that having been said, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you for watching, and most important of all, enjoy your holiday.